And
Hi.
hello.
Okay, good evening, good afternoon, or good morning from wherever you are joining from the world. So, thank you so much, guys, for joining today with Gemini Nexus, the Agentverse, organized by Google Developer Group on campus and strategic partner Google Developer Group Georgetown. And we have with us today Mr. Thu Ya. He is a senior developer advocate for Google Cloud and in Google. And today we will be having our session called Build a Data Analyst Agent with ADK. So without further ado, I would like to pass the floor to Mr. Tuya. So
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. This is like Monday, and then it's only after lunchtime, so everyone is like, "Thank you so much for being here." And let me quickly share my screen, right? So we are gonna do like data agent that can help us to analyze, read and research kind of thing today. And hope you are ready with your, laptop, desktop, tablet. I don't know anyone who will be coding on tablet, but I also saw some people who code things on phones and what's it called, Steam Deck as well before. So not judging. You can use whatever medium you have to start coding, but this is a hands-on, so we do expect you to code, right? So let's get to it, right? So the first thing first, I'm Tuya. I'm currently at Google doing developer relations, and this is where we are right now in terms of like being a data analytics person, right? So anyone here data analyst, studying data science, data engineering, raise your thumbs up and stuff so that I can kind of see. That's awesome, amazing. Wow, there's a lot of people. Nice. Okay, so you can agree to disagree, right? If you don't agree, you can type it in the comments. If you agree, thumbs up to see how things are now, right? Like being a data analytics or data person is quite tough. Right? You need to collect data, you need to clean the data, you need to analyze the data, you have to research, you also have to report insight, right? Who thinks this is like easy? Anyone thinks this is easy? You can like, type in the chat. It's not easy, right? It's very hard. So how can we then, help ourselves using AI, right? So this is where we are trying to kind of come up with like a ways for us to help us do our job better, right? So I was actually in a data science team before, and now I'm learning more about generative AI, right? So I was thinking like, hey, how can I actually make, the AI agents and all the Gen AI to help me do my job a little bit better? So I was start thinking of like, oh, you know what? I have so many things I need to do. So what if I try to outsource some of the things that I can outsource to AI agent? So before you actually, start using AI, you need to understand what it is that you're using, right? So the first thing is, we have to go into large language model, right? If you keep talking about Gen AI, but you need to know like what's the underlying foundation fundamentals of those Gen AI solution, right? So one is like, hey, large language model, let's say Gemini, right? In the past, we just prompt it and then you get a response. So it's kind of like if you can prompt it better, you get a better response and so on. Then we start to realize that, the responses sometimes have hallucination, right? So when you have hallucination, then how do we prevent hallucination from stop happening, right? Maybe reduce the chance of being hallucinated and so on. So we started actually integrating different things, right? So we were like, how about we put our own custom data, or like in terms of like maybe databases or like documents, PDF, directly linked to the large language model, so that large language model will make use of like those. So whenever someone asks question, right, you come here and then large language model, instead of giving to the response directly, they will just go and talk to the data first. Like, can I find relevant data to extract information from here, right? So once you have the data that is like available in our database, Gemini or like large language model will be able to like understand those data first, then make use of that and then make a response, right? So the response is now backed by the data that we have, or we are providing, right? This one could be anything. Could be from internet, could be from PDF, could be from database, could be from another AI agent, and so on, right? So this process we call is grounding. So when you say, when someone say like, hey, have you ground your large language model or your AI agents, right? That means that your AI agent has a way to get more information or more relevant information, maybe accurate information. So they have access to that, so that whenever they make a claim or they make a response, they are grounded, right? So this is where we call it grounding, right? So you're attaching the data into the AI, right? So next step now is that we now has a ways to figure out like what's the important data that we need to connect to, right? What are the relevant data? Maybe like if you study information retrieval, how can we retrieve the information from a specific database? Right, your database could be like thousands and thousands of data, maybe even millions kind of row. Then how can I make sure that rows that I'm querying are actually relevant, right? So you can't just put in every single thing there is to say it's like, oh, it's grounded, right? Then the models still have to verify what are the information that is needed, right? So you need to do that as well. So this is like maybe I would say about 1-2 years ago. So you have this LLM retrieval, and then you move on, right? So we don't just want the large language model to like give us the answer. We also wanted to do something for us. So something could be sending an email, writing a report, maybe even like scheduling appointment and so on, right? Like extract information directly from the database without having us to prepare the data for them, right? So this is where we start having the action variables, right? So we have large language model, which is just a model that doesn't really have a lot of latency information. Then we augment that with retrieval. So retrieval will actually being able to retrieve information as needed from a source, could be database, could be a PDF. Then now we are integrating actions, which can schedule appointment, call someone, check somebody, reply someone, and so on. So this is done via what we call toolings, right? So the tools come in, and then it will just integrate, and it will make it into like this one complete unit. So once you have many tools, right? So you have many tools now because we want our agent to do many other things for us. When you have many tools, and then you have one component of AI agent. So this is like what we call AI agent. You have large language model. You have the ability to retrieve and being augmented by the data. At the same time, you have multiple tools to do many different things, right? It could be sending email, blah, 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 right? So this unit is called AI agent, and we are now in the era of creating many agents, right? So once the creating AI agents become like easier and easier, more and more people start to create those AI agents. Then once those AI agents are being connected all together, right, you have to somehow make them work together, right? You can't have one AI agent that everyone creating the same AI agent all the time, right? Maybe if you want to do something with GitHub, right, you can't be having a GitHub copy of yourself, and then GitHub also have their own GitHub agent, right? So it should be just like one GitHub agent that can help you to do all the things that you need to do with GitHub. So this is where we are like modularization and so on and so on, right? So once you have this environment of all the AI agents working together, yeah, this is where we start having this thing called multi-agent system, right? So some tasks, like for example, like researching or maybe even analyzing, you might want to have like a different, I would say, steps to be done, and then you might want to split into like different domain expertise and so on. So this is where we start having this multi-agent system altogether. So going deeper down into what AI agent is or what makes an AI agent, AI agent actually have three components, right? So just now we were talking about large language model, retrieval, and toolings, right? So this is like AI agents in terms of like, I would say, anatomy. So you have this AI agent model. So that could be Gemini, that could be some other open model like Gemma 3 and so on. As long as this is the generative AI model, is as a brain to help out with like reasoning, help out with like determining what's like plan, generate responses and so on, right? So this is the model piece. So the model piece could be any model, right? As long as you are being able to do these kind of activities. And of course you have tools. So tools is to fetch the data, is to perform actions, is to also, call other APIs or maybe even delegate to another agent, right? So this is where the tools comes in, right? So tools are like hands and legs for you to do certain things that you want to do, right? Once you are done, you need to like have a body or like some kind of like a ways to link the brain and the hands and leg together, right? So things like having a profile, right? Personality, even for like some kind of instructions and what are my goals and so on, right? So you need to start putting in these kind of attributes to your agent, right? So this is where you have the orchestration layer. So orchestration layer helps with remembering whether you have done the task already, remembering whether what's a long-term plan that you have, right? Maybe some are short-term plans, some are long-term plan. You can remember all those things. What are the tasks that I have done already? Things like that. Okay. So then now we have all these things, right? Into orchestration layer. So this orchestration is actually just to help maintain the memory. Remember what are the tools and what kind of data we fetch already, and so on, right? So this is like AI agent that is being explained in an anatomy kind of manner, right? So now we have learned how to do AI agent and so on. We're going to use something called ADK. So ADK is like Agent Development Kit. It's an open source library done by Google, right? If you want to create an agent, this is all the code you need to start creating one agent, right? And you don't even need to actually write this code because the code itself will be like populated by the library itself. All you need to do is like install Google ADK, and then you type in ADK create agent, and then it will start creating agent, right? And remember, agent has tools. An agent has a large language model as a brain, right? So you have to define what's the model that you're going to use, like this part, and then you have to put in like profile and like personalities and goals and so on. Then you have to have the tools, right? So because ADK is done by Google, right? Google actually provided some of the things like Google Search, Google Map, and so on inside their native tools, right? So we call it first-party tools. So those tools are already come together with the package. So you just need to install this one, then you'll be able to use this one already. Okay, so this is like a boilerplate code for you to start creating AI agents. And of course, these AI agents need internet connection because you're using like Gemini, right? So Gemini is pretty much just using the internet APIs to extract the information and so on, right? So you need to authenticate them, right? So if you're using something like a Google AI Studio, you need to put your API keys into the API, environment variables or environment file. But if you're using something like Google Vertex AI, which what we were going to do, we have to provide with the project and we have to provide with the location, right? So this is what we're going to do for our environment. And then once it's okay, then we should be able to start using the AI agent. Yeah, so I think I already put it out, and thank you so much for also putting the links over here. Maybe it's already overrun with a lot of AI assistant chat. You can claim the credits by going to this link. Right, I'm just gonna here. Right, so go to this link, and then you can actually take a look at how to claim the credits from this link here as well. I have a step-by-step kind of like PDF for you to claim it, right? So I think I will also try claiming that one. Maybe I will switch over to another tab so that you can kind of see, right? Okay, let me know if like everyone's okay with claiming. Can you like send a thumbs up so that I know people are okay with claiming it? Share the slides. I have a public version of the slides, so I will try to send that public version out. But most of the content that I share, right? Let me actually show you that. Most of the things that I'm talking about here is actually you can find it in the ADK documentation. So, but I will share the ADK documentation later as well, right? So the thing about slides is that without someone explaining, you cannot just read the slide because those are just very short form content, right? You don't really have ways to kind of like, it's not like lecture slides where you have all the info is in the slides, right? Okay, so everyone okay with redeeming? Anyone having issues with getting credits and so on? If not, then we move on to the next one. All good? All right, sounds good, right? So the first one that we're gonna do, right, is actually this lab. We have the Google ADK Data Analyst app, right? So just go there, and then you should be able to see that the code lab that you're gonna do for today, right? So the collab will cover like 3 portions, like progressively going from like just creating a basic AI agent all the way to start connecting with a database. Yeah. So the database, right, is like, let's say for example, right, if you are, let's say, creating a dashboard or send the link. Okay, let me type it down here. So google.com/80k data analyst. Wait. I think and without the S. So let me see if I can correct it. Analyst. Yeah, I think this one. So if you go there, you should be able to see the link. Okay, so what we're gonna do first, right? So they're actually we are trying to make analytic agent, right? Instead of you having to, let's say, query SQL, pull the data down, and also execute it, and then come back to the dashboard and then answer question. If someone asks you about, hey, what's the sales total from like last year. Then you have to like go to SQL and then write it and then execute it and then export the data out and plot the graph and so on, right? What we're gonna do is we're gonna actually, yeah, it's also written by me. Yeah, so it's what you wanna do, right? Is actually going to mount or rather like integrate this AI agent with a database directly. So when you ask question to the database, it will actually execute the query, write the query, execute the query, then give you back the output. You ask some question, they will actually try to give the output. That's what we want trying to do, right? So this first step is this one, something that we will do. Okay, let me actually switch over the tab to explain what the code is going to be. Okay, so I was going to share this tab. Right, so this is what you will see, right? The code lab. So I'm going to go down. Right, here is where you need to like start configuring, right? Create a project, and then from the project, say project name, leave the location, billing account. You should actually receive something like a Google Cloud Trial billing account. If you don't see it, it's okay, proceed, right? You will see something like this. And when you're typing your project name, remember your project ID, right? So try to remember it, note it down somewhere, you will need it later. And once everything is okay, we have to just go to share.cloudgoogle.com. And then when you have this thing, it will ask you whether you want to authorize or not. Once you're authorizing it, then you should be able to start executing this by setting your project and then enabling the API that we need. So we're going to need the AI platform for Google Gemini, and then we're going to need BigQuery for Google BigQuery that we're going to use in a little bit. Okay. So from here, I will actually go through like one step by step, right? So from here, you actually have to do something like creating the project folder, and then going into the project folder, then start creating a virtual environment. So we are going to use UV to create a virtual environment, and then we have source it. Source it basically just activate the current virtual environment that you created, right? So once you have this one, then you will see it's being activated over here. Right, so once you have activated this one, we can actually just install UVP install. We are putting no cache because we probably don't want to cache all the information that we are going to download it. And then once you are done with this step, you should have the Python environment already. Okay. So let me actually quickly cover what we're going to do for the step 5. So step 5 is by executing this command. We ADK create Google Data Analytics Agent. This will use the Google Agent Development Kit to start creating. So it will ask you like, hey, what kind of model are you going to choose? But the default one is actually 2.5 Flash, so you can choose 2.5 Flash for there. And then it will ask you to choose a backend. Like I said, we are using Vertex AI, so we have to choose the select number 2. And once you have chosen these two, you should be able to enter your project ID. If the project ID is not, I would say, correctly reflected in your terminal, you have to change it. But if it's already reflected correctly, you don't have to. Then you put in your region, right? So this is actually a central US database, our US data center. So we're going to use that. You can choose to use something that is closer to like Singapore or like Thailand or something like that. But it's up to you. Just choose US Central one if you prefer to have like very standard experience, because some of the services may not be available in other data center, right? So once you fix it already, all you need to do is just type in ADK web. When you type in ADK web, it will be loading up like a, I would say, node server kind of like environment where it will say, hey, you can actually go and see that website that is loaded in here. So you can just go and control click it. Once you control click, you'll be able to see that, right? And then you can start chatting with your agent. So what I'm gonna do, maybe I will actually start how, let's see if I can do this. I will start typing it over here and see how it looks like. Right, you guys can get started already. Like start from, I would say, step 3, right? Try to do all this thing, and if you have issues, just type it down in the chat. Right, if you don't have issue and you already finished, I stay until step number 6. Yeah, so if you finish the step number 6, I'll wait for a while, and then we will make sure that everyone finished until step number 6. Right, if you finish step number 6, just type it in the message that you're done. Then just wait for a while, get a water or something. Yeah, so let's go ahead and start this lab, right? Before we start, anyone have any issues with accessing the link, accessing the credits, and so on? So far, everything's okay. Any questions? Just type it in the chat. If not, then just give me a thumbs up so I know that everyone's okay, so that we can proceed. Oh yeah, sorry. Can I get water? Then breathe more air. I guess it actually helps. Yeah. Pause later lah. Later, around 7 p.m. Yeah. All right. Let me know if anyone has to like go for praying as well. So yeah. I think it's recorded lah. So recorded, you can just come back and watch it again. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, try to finish at this step 6. So this one actually download the file and ask you to ask some question about the file, right? So this is like pretty much very good because you can like, let's say, download your assignments and your project requirements and ask question directly to the AI agent. AI agent will then go and read the files and then actually ask to, I would say, it will read the file and then give you the response based on what you ask, right? So this is pretty much very simple, right? You have the AI agent. You can actually attach the file there to ask questions, right? So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to like, maybe you can watch me do that. I'm going to switch over to another tab and then start creating the AI agent as well together with you guys so that we can all work together, right? So I'm going to start. So this is actually, okay, so yeah, this is what I'm going to be doing. So currently I have AI agent ADK as well. Maybe I will just move. I will just create another folder anyway. I will say this is data agent ADK, then I will go there. Then I will do. You guys can start doing it. I'm just doing it for the sake of people who are like maybe in the future want to I would say follow it one by one. So I'm just really gonna do this. So oh wait, I did something wrong from this. I'm just gonna remove that. Yay. Okay, so yeah, gonna do ADK create data analyst. Oh, I need to do UAP install ADK. Yeah, so if you receive like, oh, there's no environment tag, etc., it's fine. Just ignore that for a moment. It doesn't really have a lot of impact in it. It's a new things that they updated. Don't need to be concerned about. It's fine, right? So I do need to do G cloud project set project. Yeah, I got the same thing, so it's fine. So you just have to make sure that your environment is updated. and at the same time, your data, I would say Google Cloud backend is also linked up. Right? So once you have this like yellow color things, and then this one, the two bracket, they are there, this terminal should be fine to start working, right? So I'm going to start creating AI, ADK create, data analyst, I can do analyst. Yeah, I'll just create this one. Then you ask me questions, I can do this. Okay, 1, 2. So, see. Okay, people need to update the OTA AI note taker stuff. Um, okay, who here is done already for the step number 6? Anyone? Oh, a few people. Nice. Okay. So yeah, thing is, if you do ADK web, it would actually open up an AI agent. Let's see, it's running. Then you can click on it. Then you will see this one, right? This here, 6. To download this one. Download it. Then I just need to attach the file. I just need to ask, give me a summary. Okay. Hopefully it works now for me. Da, da, da. Okay, I think even for me it's done. So the rest of you should be able to done, right? Anyone stay working on this? Can we proceed to the next step? Thumbs up, please. If you have issues, could you like type it in the chat so that I know what's the issue? Then I know maybe some other people are
The
saying,
chat is disabled.
what is disabled?
Oh, now it's okay already. Wait. When I try to ask the question at the ADK web, the web agent, it got this error.
What's the error? Can you paste it in the chat?
Yeah, I paste it already. The error is
Error.
403 permission denied.
Okay, so I think it could be that you have not set up the billing. So this kind of thing, you need to go to, let's say, console.cloud.google.com. You will see here, right? Then you choose the project that you are in. I'm using Unit AI project. So this is my current project. Then you go to billing. So go to billing. So there will be a billing, right? So click on billing. So once you have the billing, it will say, okay, you're currently, let me just zoom in a little bit. So it tells me that you have multiple billing accounts, but currently your account is this, right? So if you go to this billing and then you don't have anything linked up to your project, that's the problem. So you need to redeem the credits that we sent out just now, and then your projects need to be linked to a billing account, right? So if you are not linked, this button will show like link a billing account, right? So if because I already linked, it's tell me to go to the link billing account. If you don't have linked anything, it will ask you to link it. If you click on link, okay, just like I show you, so manage billing account, and then I can actually unlink it. So I have like so many billing account, right? I go to projects, and then you see which account I'm actually linked to, right? Unit project is actually linked to this. I can actually change my billing to another account. So there will be all the accounts that I have, see? So you can also come here and do that as well. So try this. If you don't see any billing account, right, that means you have not redeemed the credit. You need to go back and redeem the credit.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Let me know if you try it doesn't work, and then we fix again.
Sure, now I'm
Yeah.
trying.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you see over here, like you can see all the summary, right? And what's so good about it, right, is actually I can ask like, hey, I'm doing research on diabetic or something. Which pages should I read? Okay, awesome, nice, right? So like I will just ask them to like put summary, right? But at the same time, right, you can also ask like, hey, I'm doing this specific research, right? Maybe your PDF document is like 1,000 pages, I don't know, right? Then which kind of pages should I read? And it will actually say that, oh, you should read like page 2, 3, 4, and then 13, 14, 16, 17, 18. No, you don't need to read. So I think the whole PDF is actually, I think like 47 pages, see? So 47 pages, you only need to read 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 pages only. So it saves time lah. So something like that lah. So it's up to your imagination and creative, right? Like how can you actually use the AI to help you do your job better?
Excuse me?
Yeah.
I have a problem when I ran the agent. I had this error. Wait a minute. I will send it window. This is the error that I found.
424, not found, not found.
When I prompted to test it.
So what you do, right? If you do this way, so if you see this one, this is the folder that I have, right? My ADK folder. Go down a bit. So if you go here, there will be a .env file. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So you check whether your location is correct, right? If not sure, right, just put US-central1. Okay. And you check the project. This project, right, is a project ID, not project name. So what I mean by that is, let's say I go back to Google Cloud, right? I have many projects, see? So you can see this project is named Gemini API, but the project ID is optimal sum, right? So these two, I got lucky because I'm the only one that is naming like this way. But this one, name and the project ID is different. So if I'm going to use Unit AI project, I will choose Unit AI project. If I'm going to use a ADK Agent Zoo, I will use ADK Agent Zoo. Right, so this value must be reflected in the project here. Okay, check if that project is the correct one. Right, if you have typo, hyphen typo, capital letter, small letter, maybe sometimes got space behind. The one remove the space, something like that. Right. So yeah, let me know if that works. If not, then we come back again later. We will proceed on to the next step, right? So yeah, I was talking about this, right? Where you can ask specific type of questions and help you to advance and so on, right? Help you to do your job a little bit better, right? So the problem that we have now is our agent, right? If you take a look at our agent code, right? I'm going to go back to the agent code again. Our agent code, it looks like this, right? So we actually have the AI agent, right? So the model, name, description, instruction. What is missing? What is missing to be an AI agent? Can anyone type in the chat what is missing?
Orchestration, right?
Yeah, so two things, yeah, two things are missing. So orchestration itself, right, is like the whole point of orchestration is to put tools and model together, right? So orchestration piece is like, this is already considered like orchestration because you're orchestrating by putting in your instruction, which could be potentially profile and goal. You have the large language model, which is the generative AI piece. So what is missing is a tool, right? So, and also from the chat perspective, right, these informations are actually based on the PDF that you provided, and also the knowledge from the I would say the large language model. So depends on which model you use, right? It will actually give you different output one, right? So and also this data, right, is actually just from Google, right? What if I want to learn about other company as well, right? So I need to have access to internet, right? My agent should have access to internet so that it can actually combine maybe information that I provided from this PDF to the I would say the documentation, right? Maybe like web documentations or some other PDF that you can find in the web and so on, right? So this is where we're gonna do the step 7. Okay, this step 7, right, is actually start creating something called toolings, right? So we will actually use Google search that is baked in the ADK, and you change the instruction a little bit, right? So instruction will be like, first check the uploaded file. So we actually have the file that's going to be uploaded, right? If check the file for the upload, and then if you cannot find the information in the file, right, then use your tools to search the web. We don't want to just keep searching the web. Then no point, right? Like every time I ask you, you go and search the web. Then what's the point of providing the PDF, right? So we have to do that by providing this kind of instruction. Yeah, go to the files and then start finding information there. You cannot find it, yeah, sure. Then you go and find in a Google search, no, something like that, right? So Google search, you put in the tools. Once you have this one, then we're going to ask very specific question again, right? So we ask things like, hey, this document discuss Google strategy in healthcare, but what others 3 major tech companies are also investing heavily in the healthcare AI, right? And what are they focusing on, right? Maybe Google focus on diabetics, maybe some other one focus on cancer or something, right? So this is where we can actually combine, right? So this level, step 7 is basically just combining the data that you have and comparing against the internet, right? So this is how you do it. So to do that, you just have to change the agent code. Just find, copy, paste, then you can start asking question already. So to do that, you can leave this open, but you have to stop the server. They don't have hot reload, so you need to stop first. Then I would say copy this agent code. Then you go here and you replace that. Then your agent is new. Then we start again. So we'll clear this and then start ADK 1. So now our agent has access to the internet using the Google search tools, right? So we just open up again. Then this is our new agent. Do the same thing. You can just attach the file, right? Then you go and ask the question. So I'm going to ask this. The information, place it for, okay. I just copy this, then ask, right? This document, blah, 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 then just enter. It will then go find the information from the PDF, cannot find, then go into the internet and go find. I will show you how it looks like, right? Let it go find first, and then let me actually move on to the next step. I'm going to present something else and then do this. Okay, so just now we were doing this one, right? Build simple agent. Then the next step, so this is how it looks like, right? The next step is to create, right? So now we are putting in the Google search inside our agent, right? So Google search is the tools, and then the root agent will actually use the prompt, PDF, also Google search, and then do the Gemini responses. Right? So the code looks like this, right? We already do this, right? And let me go and switch it back to our agent just now. Okay. So yeah, the results are back, right? It says Apple actually working on the health screening, right? And then there's also Microsoft working on the AI service base for healthcare. Amazon working on the cloud infra as well. So this kind of information is helpful, right? Like if you're looking for a job, and like maybe you want to go for a job in healthcare, right? Someone asked, okay, let me just talk about this first. So if you are, let's say, looking for a job, and then you want to analyze what kind of job, maybe you're interested in healthcare, right? Then you can go and see, like, oh, if you want to join big tech, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and see what kind of infrastructure focus or like, I would say investment focus on the role that they have and things like that. Then you can say, oh, maybe you know what? If they're investing in this, then yeah, maybe they might have more job coming out in this area, something like that, right? Like need to be smarter a bit, right? To kind of like infer from all the resources. May or not true, right? But at least you know they are investing in this, then maybe there might be role opening up something. You know, a lot of people always ask me like, what kind of role? Like you go and research like then you will know, right? Like you cannot just ask some people what kind of. I also don't know, right? Like I'm not from HR, how I know? I don't know. So you need to go and read this kind of documentation, infer from all the research that you do, then you can do it. Okay. Someone asked question about, oh, what should I do if I get result exhausted? I don't know how you get result exhausted though, unless you put in the wrong PDF, because this PDF is so small. But if you somehow get result exhausted, right, just wait for like 1 minute and try again. Like maybe, you know, because we're also not using any loop, so I don't know how we get result exhausted. So it could be that your account is new, then they have limited your account to like prevent fraud and things like that. Or it could be that you use it like in the morning, and then you know they kind of don't have the quota anymore. But I would say if everything is working fine and all you are getting a result is also all this thing, just wait, right? And also I would say check your the location, right? If your location is like Asia or something, then sometimes they actually limit some kind of rate there, right? So try US Central one. It's quite easy to do, right? Yeah, I think there's also like some data center that has a lot more requests per minute because they have a lot more quota and stuff like that. You can just play around with the data location. How to find a location, right? You go to like Google Cloud regions and zones, and you just go and like find what zones are there. So you can see all the zones. See like US Central 1. Also have like US West 4 and stuff is there, right? And here are the list lah. So you can see like location. If you want APAC, just select APAC, and see you got Asia East 1 is in actually Taiwan, right? Asia East 1 got one ABC, all the Taiwan places. Then got 2 got Hong Kong 1, got Tokyo. You know, you can actually change and then try, right? Something like that. Make sense? Okay. Proceed on to our task, right? So this is what you can do lah. Let me go and find what's the next step. Yeah. So the next step is going to be let me switch over, right? So okay, everyone got any? Everyone managed to finish this step number 7? Oh, good. Can you give me a thumbs up so that I know that you guys finished already? All working fine, right? No space left. No space left. No space left. You can clean up. So okay. So what you can do, right? You can go and wait. This is your home. Okay. Wait. So okay, when you are installing this, I told you, right? Let's come back. Here. You got put no cache, no. Sometimes you already use it already, right? Maybe delete some folder, delete some folder, right? In your, I mean, don't randomly delete, like delete the ones that not used anymore. So delete some folder, and then when you install again, right? Then no cache. No cache. Okay, it's strange lah. Don't know why. Let's see. Got any? Because I don't face anything. I'm using my public one also. So, oh, okay, some few errors. Okay, let me check. So for the no space one, right? It could be that you have like storage there. You're gonna figure out. Let me try to see how I can show you. So, because we are using this one, right? You can have like this thing called Gemini CLI. So if you type Gemini on the terminal, right? You type Gemini on the terminal, it actually open up this thing called Gemini CLI. Right? See, it's coming up slowly. Okay. Then you can ask it. Somehow. Okay. Okay. So I will just like trust folder. Trust the parent folder. So you can actually ask it to like. Can you find which folder I can delete? Something like that. Right. Don't just ask it to delete that. Later you delete the whole home folder and then you're gone. Right. Can you ask to find first? Can you find which folder I can delete first? Right. So then it will actually go and find and then give you the information. Right. Okay. So the next one. Someone run Python code and got no module form. Okay. So when you click, okay, when you start this like new terminal, right, you see there's nothing, right? There's nothing before, there's nothing behind, right? So what you need to do is, first thing first, you need to go into the folder. So my folder is called Data Agent ADK. So I go folder already. So this means I'm in the folder, right? So when you hit the folder already, the first thing is I need to install Python, environment and all these things. This is like step number 4, right? Here I'm installing. What I need to do is I need to source. So this is to activate my Python environment. So I come here, I click this, then it will actually give me the prefix, which is like I already activated this environment. So when you get an activation already, right? So now I'm in the folder, I've already activated my environment, right? Then if I say ADK, then it should say the environment should be activated already. Then you see ADK, right? ADK, let's say ADK create ABC or something, right? Then it will start activating already. So if you are seeing Python no module form, right, that means you never install. You haven't installed, let's say UV pip install Google ADK, something like that. You never do that. You miss that step. Okay, so someone asked, like, when you change code and restart, can we refresh the ADK web? I don't know, but let's try it, right? So if I am, let's say I'm gonna try another one anyway. So this one is not much of a difference, but let's see if I have to change the code, right? So this is the step number 8. So step number 8, right, is not just using the Google search anymore. It's actually attached the entire database to the AI agent. So the AI agents will not just read the PDF, it will then run, execute the code from the Python and to the SQL, then SQL to the database come back with the output come back to the Python and then give you the output. Data warehouse, in a way, like, so BigQuery is like a full, I would say, like, product, right? It's not like I would say, like, it's not like a MySQL server that you just output. So BigQuery has a lot more things. So BigQuery, if you go to BigQuery, like, you want to research, right? So say BigQuery. So BigQuery actually has like it's a data platform, right? So it has like lots of things like the features, like you want to like maybe remove the personal information, mask some column. You can also have like data warehouse in the migration. You can also do like real-time analytics. You can actually do the ETL, like export list transform kind of thing, right? Extract list transform kind of thing as well. You also have like geospatial analysis, right? And like sometimes, right, like if you're like working in government and all these things, you also have like a data clean room where some data come in and then you go into the clean room. You make sure all the data are like not sensitive, like things like that. Then you have like the final output. You can see that from this one, right? Like data, all the data from everywhere come. Then you go into the room. Then this is like airtight room. That means cannot. Then you can start. Okay. Right. Someone asked questions about if I have a questions, like my model response may include non-text format, images, PDF. Okay. So it is not that hard to accomplish because it's still I would say so currently it's all text, right? Like we get text response and so on. But when we are dealing with like information like images, information like PDF file and so on, my recommendation, right, is to actually create a function or like a method that can store those information outside of the agent, right? So maybe let's say I have an image, then I put that image into like a Google Drive or cloud storage or maybe even Google Photo, right? So then I use that as a reference. I don't just pass back the image. What if one halfway, right? The image, the connection lost, your image halfway, So you need to think from the UX perspective and data transmission aspect as well, right? If you're like, let's say I'm actually sending this 4K image to my customer, then my customer is using like, I don't know, Steam Deck. Then it's like, the device so small cannot even make use of the 4K. You're actually sending the 4K image to them. right? So it's better that you store the 4K and then you just send a link to them, or you just like iframe it or something, right? So do it that way, right? Okay, so someone asks, activate already, is there not found, huh? Then install, can install or not? Like this, wait, step number 2, wait, here. If you do pit install, this one, UV pit install, can install or not? If you cannot install, if you install already, activate already, the package should be there. If you, I don't know, what kind of package? What's the error like? What package not found? ADK not found, or like some other package not found? I also never import. I also import Google ADK. Yeah. So if you install already, activate already, then cannot find, then maybe in a different folder. Where are you running actually? Like running here, like so you actually run it, right? Like you go inside the folder already, you activate already, like source, then activate, right? Activate already, then you should see this one already, right? Then you say Google ADK is Google hyphen ADK, not Google ADK. You see, Google hyphen Google hyphen ADK. If you do Google space ADK, it will install Google package. Then ADK package, I don't know where it's coming from. Right, yeah, have fun. Yeah, thanks for joining. Someone say, how safe would it be to say BigQuery? Right. Okay, let's see. Okay, someone asked you about the next already, right? I think some people also need to leave for class. So let's try to finish up this one lah. Then you explore later. Okay. So I explain the code first. Okay. So now what we're gonna do, right? We already have an AI agent that is working, finding out information from our PDF, finding information from the, I would say, the internet, right? So what if we want to actually mount that AI agent into the database, right? So when you do that, right, because BigQuery is actually a production-ready great database, so you need to have a ways to authenticate it like securely, right? So it actually gave you some options. You can see this credential config, right? So actually BigQuery credential config, right? There are like 4 or 5 ways to like authenticate one. So this is like config. You will actually ask you what kind of credential are you going to use to configuration. Is it going to be like your account? Is it going to be your this is like I'm using application default because this cloud shell, right? It actually live inside Google environment, so it's already have a way to authenticate. Remember when you are doing? Let me actually show you this one. When you're going to do this, you click authorize, right? So this actually authorize your Google Gmail account. Your Gmail account or like your cloud account to be linked up to the authentication part of the cloud shell. So I can safely use that inside my it's level 9. Okay, inside here, application default credential. So when you have this one, yeah, then it will actually use whatever you already authenticated inside your cloud shell. Then it will create a configuration. Then you just put that as an authentication. Yeah, and someone asked about, oh, how safe it is. You can actually remove write mode one. So you should write mode remove, right? That means they cannot write, they can only read, right? And I'm like, if you want to limit, like let's say you have like 20 databases, 20 databases. Let's say that. Then you only want this particular client customer to access five only. Don't want to access the other 15. Then you can configure it in your Google account, right? Like there's this thing called IAM. Let me see. I go to console.cloud.google.com, right? So this is the portal, right? There's this thing called IAM. So IAM, right? IAM actually have a role that you can do. Like you can just say grants by role or grant by principal. So actually, I granted myself as owner, right? I actually can see what all the permission that I have. You can see all the permission that I have. You can like manually download it. BigQuery some permission, right? See, BigQuery got some permission. You can configuration update. You can connection create connection, database creating, job creating, model creating, like all these things lah. So there are like a lot of BigQuery, you know, specific things that you can actually customize one. So it's a cross between you know, making AI agent works and also like configuring from your own cloud thing, right? So some people say, oh, how important it is to understand cloud infrastructure and all these things. If you're using like cloud tools, right, having infrastructure knowledge is very important, right? If you want to like make a solution move to production, for example, then if you don't know where to configure security, if you don't know where to configure access, how to create data set for BigQuery, then how? Cannot, right? You need to know one. So yeah, so that's how you do it, lor. And you have to like fine tune the access lah. So if you don't want specific person to do access a certain thing, then don't like block him from the cloud terminal. Then cannot access from an agent already, right? Because agents currently using application default. It could be user default as well. It could be role based as well, something like that, right? And you can also use write mode, whether is it allowed, not allowed, and so on. And now we have the tools. So BigQuery toolset. So toolset, right? So this tool, right, is actually I think created by Google as well. So they actually created these tools to connect from AI agent to BigQuery. Now we have like MCP server and all these things also. So you can choose to use whether you want to do MCP or not. Right? This one is actually toolset only. So when you toolset, you have to put in what kind of configuration you have and what kind of tool that we need to use. And then similar thing, right? All we need to do is just pass in BigQuery as a toolset inside, right? So BigQuery toolset as a tools into our agent, and then it should be able to query the BigQuery, right? So let me change this code. Go back here. I'm going to replace this code here. Right now, my agents is actually working already. So someone asked about, oh wait, click wrong. Someone asked about, can we just like stop first, then, you know, try ADK web again. And then when it's loading up, and then we just like, let's see this one, like can refresh. Yeah, I think can. Let's try. I think maybe not. Let's see. Right, I will try copying the prompt. So this is like look into the data set. So CMS data care is like a free data set that you can choose to work on stuff, right? So free data set from BigQuery public data set. If you have, let's say, school project and all this thing, you can create BigQuery, and then you can actually create a data set and then use the data set to analyze, right? Right. So someone tested it, it says it's good. Yeah. So you can just copy this, and then I will just like, this one is a run a refresh, right? So I could just type it in. And then because now our agent has all the powerful tools, right? We have the BigQuery tool, we have the Google search agent and all sorts of things. Then it should technically start asking me like question to authenticate and so on, right? It will take some time. So while it's running, right, I will switch over. Oh, actually, it already finished already. So you see, so now because we have the database connection, right, it actually should connect one. Why? Okay, it's actually start giving me some information about commonly used database, blah, 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 how to access it. But I would rather have them actually invoke some of the, see, it's actually not invoking the tool. So maybe let's try running this again. So this is data analyst, right? And I will say hi to make sure it's working. When you invoke the BigQuery tools, it should actually, let's see, got graph. Yeah, it's not actually registering the AI agent. Because if you register AI agent, right, you will see the tools that is attached to here one. So actually it's not attaching. Let me see what's wrong. So I need to probably save. So I saved already. I will stop again. I will start again. Then I will refresh as someone recommended. So I will just refresh this one. Then I ask the same questions. So you can actually verify whether it's using the tools or not, right? So tools will actually have come up with like a bubble one. If it's using this like correct tools, right, you will actually see a bubble one. Let's see. And you can also see it on the graph. I will show you in a bit. So someone get the email, right? So what? Oh, you see? So this one, right? You can see it's different. It's actually getting the. Let me just zoom in a little bit. It's too small. I move this here first. You see, it's actually start invoking the tools. If you hover this, right, you can see so many things going on. Okay, don't care about so many things going on. It's because of the UI bug, right? So you can see like which is the project ID, what's the table ID, and so on. You can hover and see what they do, what kind of information, like what's the results and so on, right? So these bubbles means, right, it's actually is invoking the function or tools, right? So someone has the email, right? What happens is like when you are here, maybe you inactive and then it get disconnected. So you just refresh this page, and then it will prompt to authorize again. And if you click authorize, the email error will go away. Okay. See, it's going to actually execute. Okay, then now all the execution, like you can see all the table. Oh, so many. All the table. This is a bug lah. Yeah. So you can see all the things is actually now giving me the relevant information, right? If I click into this, right, you will see that. So coming here again, you will see that it's actually, you can see execution tools, right? You can see all the tools that are executed, and how long does it take to execute those tools. See, so this is one way to debug as well. Like I know exactly because I'm working with this tool day to day, right? So when let's say for example, when I ask this question, right, there's no tools invoked because it's just directly from the PDF itself. But when I ask about, let's say BigQuery, right, it should actually invoke some BigQuery tools before they read, right? Cannot just give me this. So this is actually like a hallucination, right? So I need to get exactly all these bubbles so that I know that they're invoking the tools to get information. Someone say CMS part of the data, but it was created in this. Look at you, blah blah blah. So you can ask more information. So sometimes ask about project ID, right? You can just put it in the. So someone asks like, okay, you know, when I ask questions like this, someone asks, the agent asked me back, what's your project ID? So I actually wrote it down somewhere. Let me find out project ID. See, so sometimes, right, you need to provide your project ID so that it will create a query. So how do we prevent that? That's like agent memories and all sort of thing as well. The easiest way is like, let's say for example, right, what's the question? What can you tell me about it? Right, let's see. Okay, let's try. So what's the average? What is the average total payment for this one, right? And like agent, right? You just put in here, and then my project ID is like say unit AI project. You just provide directly. Okay, so why do they need the unit AI project ID, right? Because at the back end, right, they will actually create the SQL code. I will show you later, right? They will actually create SQL code. Then SQL code that they create, right, actually require the project ID, right? So some data set doesn't need the project ID because it's open, public, so they can actually just read. Okay, so someone say, oh wait, oh, see the email problem here. See, it's because here is disconnected. So I just need to refresh. Then it will actually start giving me authorized prompt again. Let's see. Can I authorize again? Come on. If not, then I gotta refresh again. Okay. So, right. Someone asked, why do I receive a shorter prompt? This one is CLAT one. Yeah. So sometimes, right, these things are non-deterministic. So meanings, right, there's no fixed number of loop they will go through, right? So it's based on the reasoning provided by the model, and also there's model like reasoning capabilities and all these things, right? It's actually based on like random numbers and stuff. So sometimes, right, it will give you like more information than you need. Sometimes that it will give you a shorter information than you need. So it's always good to define exactly what you want and what kind of information is relevant to you. So then it's easier to manage, right? So somehow my culture doesn't really ask me to activate it. Yeah, things like, for example, right, let's say give me I don't know, total some, let's say, go to GitHub dataset, give me a total number of pull requests and return as JSON format. So this one, right, I asked it to go to the GitHub dataset and then ask to find out the pull request and then ask it to return as a JSON. So in this case, right, and because English, if you ask it to return text in English, right, it's very vague in the sense that it can give you a short one, it can give you a long one. You need to define how long, how short, and all this. It's very hard, right? It's rather than giving me how long, how short, right? I would rather get the output in a JSON format. So you can see it actually executing the query, and from the execution query, right, you can check what's the query look like. So you say select average from BigQuery public dataset, right? And then this actually using the patient dataset, right? So you know why they're using patient dataset is because I never define what's the dataset name, right? So this is a little bit not as smart as you think because the prompt that I'm putting in is not actually very relevant to the prompt. So when you're connecting to this kind of AI agent, right? They have all the information that is listed down here. It gets summarized and also passed into the conversation as well. So if you are going to do like very drastic change within the same chat, right? It will actually get confused because we're talking about all the medical data lah, Google summary lah, then you have all this data set that is going to list and like data IDs and so on. And we're using like very intensely on the inpatient data lah, the SMC medical data, all these things. Then you suddenly go ask about GitHub, right? Then they're like, a bit confused on what to do, right? So if you want to do this kind of thing, right, you just have to create a new session. And then actually like you say, what is the data set name for GitHub on Google Cloud, BigQuery, public data set. Something like that. So then you created a new channel, which is clean. So there's no like previous conversation or memory that has existed. Then it will actually give you a little bit better performance compared to you're using some one chat with all the information that's going on, right? So like there are a lot of like mitigation, like for example, some people say that, hey, you see, dataset name for GitHub Cloud, blah, 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 is GitHub repo, right? So now you can actually ask the same, wait, where did it go? I will just ask the same question. Dataset is empty, cannot be like, so if your dataset is empty, can you check any errors in your terminal? So if you scroll up here, right, are there any error here? Check got any error here. If no error, dataset empty, could be the naming, cannot be right. I'm using the same one. So you can see it's actually calling the database and so my suspicion is just create a new session and try it. And that should work, right? So I will say, okay, calculate.
So there is no error, but there is a warning say there are non-text part in the response.
You can just ask it to like ignore the non-text part or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So let's say like calculate the number of pull requests in 2020. I don't know. I don't know. Last available year. Okay. So the thing is, like, I was typing these questions, right? I can just say 2025. Then what if my data set don't have 2025 data? Right. Let's go and try out. Then it should be smart enough to tell me that, oh, the data set doesn't have 2025 data, something like that, right? You're going to get the data set info and stuff like that. So you can see it's going on. Someone asked, what is the token streaming slider at the top for? Token streaming slider, which one? This one? This one? This one? Oh, yeah. So this one, right? If I do token streaming, right, it will actually stream the token like you would chat with like ChatGPT or Gemini, the one. Yeah. So to do this one, right, your model must support streaming. So streaming means it don't send. So this one, right, if you don't streaming, right, the whole chunk gets sent once. Yeah, so if you don't do this streaming, it will send at once, and then maybe you're like doing like very summarized version, or maybe even like very huge version of pack you come back, right? Then you might have like some network delay or something. There are customers actually waiting for it to like load or something, right? You see, it's actually come back and says that GitHub dataset does not actually track pull request, blah, blah, blah. You can count, right? And then additionally, doesn't have any information 2025, right? Okay, maybe I'll just say, how about total number of users? Something like that. Okay, so someone say, how do I configure guardrails? So guardrails configuration, right? You can configure from like a few fronts. So one, you can directly mark it inside the instruction, right? Like, oh, don't answer anything outside of like, this data set and so on. So that's like one layer of prompt blocking. The other one is using something called like model armor. So there's this thing called model armor. So the model armor, right, it actually helps you to block. So when user come in and then ask the prompt, right, the application service will actually move that prompt to the model armor first instead of going to the large language model directly. So it's become like a middleman. So the model armor is the middle person that can help you to like sanitize the prompt, right? So you send, so let's say attacker send a prompt to the system. The system usually will go directly to large language model, right? But don't do first, then go to model armor first, right? The model armor will then help you to sanitize. So both, right? Help you to sanitize the incoming one and also help you to sanitize the outgoing one, right? Because maybe like they actually put like very creative and prompting, and then when you send the large language model actually return back with all the sensitive data, then it also need to be blocked, right? So like for example, like I'll give me some, I don't know, swear words or something, and then what if the swear word is like not covered, right? Or maybe like a dirty word or something, right? Then it will just like pass in, and then large language model actually reply that in the format, right? Like, yeah, something like some of the words, right? Like I was actually like talking to this actually in my friend. They say like, oh, it's very easy to block all these words, right? But I was just saying like, but because he's not like Singaporean or something. So I say, what do you make of like your mother is green? Like, how do you say this? Is it like offensive or not? Right? But it's offensive to like Singaporean and Malaysian, but it's not to like Western people, right? They don't understand what is that. So this kind of thing, right? Model armor help you if you do like custom filtering, right? Because some of the words that we use to do define something, right, is not universal sometimes, right? So you have to inspect both ends, right? You have to inspect not just the input, output, something like that. So this one I think they will cover, right? They say, yeah, last week session they already covered. Yeah, okay, this is how you can use that. So this is from the model side, right? You can also define from your system prompt side, and then you can also do like walk filtering, all this thing additional, right? Like you can actually customize your own functions and stuff inside your AI agent, right? So your AI agent currently doesn't have any production in a way, right? You can actually start putting in tools, right? Whenever user asks prompt, use this tool to sanitize or something like that. Then you can sanitize all the tools, but all the input first. Then you pass into model armor. So you can actually put different layers of defense against all this injection and stuff. Okay, so someone say try everything, stay no dataset empty. Then you just like change the dataset, I guess. So let's see. So you could go to like BigQuery public dataset, right? So you could go to, there's like so many dataset here. So you go here, right? You will see there are so many dataset, and you just like, okay, just see to here, and you will see there are like many dataset. I usually say, okay, what kind of AI agent dataset I have? You see, got the family tree dataset, all this thing. Then I usually go, so this is paid one lah. Don't use paid one. So you use the, okay, of course you need it for business and no point lah, but you need to use free one, then you choose free one, got 230. See, got book lah, got real time auction, big hub, Google Trend. use all the data, something that you invested into and use this one, right? You just need to change, right? I show you how to change already. So you just have to ask, where did it go? Here, right? What's the data set name? Yeah, so you can just like go and ask if you want to ask, right? Ask it to ask, and then yeah, just do it. So someone say, what else? Nicholas. Someone asked me to run this code, right? So I come back here. I will start new session. Then I run this code, this prompt, right? So I run this. It should actually start querying, maybe ask me for my project ID and so on. Okay, let's see. So listing project, getting the info, answering already. Oh yeah. So if you actually go and on actually, because it's loop, right? You will go and find out.
It's
Sometimes it will never
interesting.
end.
Yours one can get, but my cannot. It says dataset description is empty using the same prompt.
Is that? See, now I also want users installed. So yeah, I think it's the prompt lah. So okay, let's see. Sometimes it will go into like this kind of spiral because the prompt itself is not very, I would say, not very well prompted. Okay, so let me actually see if I can refresh it, and then I will just say dataset from from BigQuery, Google BigQuery, public dataset. Okay, so maybe the project is the one that is causing the problem. Okay, I will say look into, I will just code this one with the code, something like that. Look into this dataset from Google public dataset. What can you tell me about it? Let's try this. So sometimes the prompt engineering thing, right? So, oh, see, it actually go there, but yeah. So some people say, oh, then how can I actually like prevent people from putting in like not very good prompt in my system? There's this thing called prompt optimizer. Prompt optimizer Google. Yeah, so prompt optimizer actually help you to optimize the prompt that you write. So when someone prompt, then you can put into the optimizer. The optimizer will actually help you to prompt. You can see some of the example here. Maybe I just put, maybe I put all the text here so you can see. This is the optimizer. Where was it? This is the model armor. Yeah, so those things like you can actually start using it, integrate together. Then, yeah, then all this flow right is very good. You can kind of see all the info. Yeah, you can see all the execution here as well. But sometimes this kind of tools right is a bit hard because it's the loop. And then as long as like the model is not deterministic, right? It might actually take sometimes 3 times, sometimes 4 times, sometimes 20 times, then you get it. Something like that. Okay, so I forgot to say one thing. Let's see if I can. I will just say, give me SQL statement that do that. Something like that. So you can actually ask the SQL statement as well. So it asked me about some big question, let's say top prescription. So you can see, so if you click this, right? Oh, so if you click on this, it'll actually tell you exactly all the tools that you have. This is how you know that your agent is actually connected to others, right? Because just now, actually, I was clicking and I only see one agent. That means my agent is not connected to the tools yet. So I can kind of tell them that I want the top prescriber for certain drugs. Yeah, then it will actually go and invoke some of the tools. Which year? I would say 2025, 2020, 15. Then drug names, a random one. Then do the total claim amount. Something like that. So it will actually start to populate the query. See, so it will actually give you a population. Select from this drug cost from this data set. Right, you can actually copy this. Go to BigQuery. Let me see. BigQuery. Go to the. I see BigQuery. BigQuery. Can I go there? Also cloud.go.com. Then I type BigQuery. Come here to BigQuery. Then I can type that. The query here. And I run. Say no found. Oh, there's not in the US data set. Maybe somewhere else. Let's see. So you can actually click on it and see. So maybe this data set doesn't exist. So we need to find that. Come back here. I will find that CMS data cat. Then you can find that data set on the BigQuery and then see whether those exist here or not. You can also like bounce around and say like, let's say this doesn't exist. All right. This doesn't exist. It will go and find and check. Then have you debug. Right. You can also do it manually from here. See what kind of data set exists here. Right. And you can always see the preview. This inside learning. Let's see synthesis data. Let's say dosage. You can actually see it in the query. Here also have all these things. Someone asked about. Someone say cannot run. Okay, so yeah, sometimes they will give you like, oh, cannot. So if they say cannot, right? Sometimes it's a bug. You just say, oh, you use these tools from your use these tools that you have. Okay, I mean, let me show you. Like when a user asks about data set, use the tools to understand, right? So tools here, right? Actually, there are two tools. One is Google Search, and then one is BigQuery, right? So when you are creating an AI agent, right, it's very important to redirect them to the right responder. Like if you ask something like for example, right, use your tools. It's very vague. Like use what tools? I have like 20 tools, right? So like someone asked the tool question as well, right? So I could say like, ask what data set, use BigQuery tool, something like that. BigQuery tools to understand something, right? So that means it will always use the BigQuery tools. It won't go to Google search. So that's why I say when you type in instruction, right, it's very important that you're very clear. If you are clear, right, it will always should be able to write the tools. Right? Of course, there's a chance that it doesn't like, but like the chance of getting the wrong tools is lower if you write a very descriptive tools. And another question is, do we need to enable BigQuery services? Yes, we actually did enable here. Wait, no, here. Step number 3. We actually enabled BigQuery here. In case you missed it. That's why you don't see the data. Okay, so many questions are one by one. Someone actually got what's the performance bottleneck for running multiple agents? So performance bottleneck for running multiple agents. Most of the things I see is the architectural problem. So like if you're doing like multi-agent, right, you need to optimize the I would say like handshake or like information transfer, right? Like imagine, right, you have like 20 agents and then you have to talk to 20 agents. Then you're actually like transferring your data right now to 20 other agents. Then 20 other agents come back to you. Then you need to wait for all the 20 other agents to return and everything, right? So this is where you have bottleneck. So like one bottleneck could be the transmission rate, right? The second bottleneck could be is the model response. So some model, like let's say Pro model, actually responds slower compared to like Flash model, right? So if you have like using Flashlight, then Flashlight is the easiest one, right? Like fastest one, I mean not easiest, like fastest one. So then of course the return will be faster, but all you can do, right, you can actually click on it and see how long does it take to actually run individual segment. You can see this core LLM only runs 7 ms. By the way, 7,000 milliseconds. So that's like 7 seconds or something, right? And you can also see the graph. on how they actually link together. You also see the responses, right? What's the part? What's the model? What's the token? How many tokens is being cached and so on. You can also see it from here. So I will also tell you, right? Like this thing is not for production. Like you can maybe like for a school project can like you can maybe like deploy this thing, but when you're deploying out there, right, you're not supposed to deploy this whole thing because everyone can see everything. You see, I can see all the state I can see all the sessions, I can see all the evaluation metrics that you put in everything. Then I can actually easily hack your system because I see everything, right? So you shouldn't do this as a production. You should do this as testing only, and then once you test ready, then you deploy as an API or something. Okay. Someone asked BigQuery to help refer better inside the Markdown. And I don't know what you mean by better inside the Markdown though. Can you show the BigQuery 2 part of ADK code? Like here my BigQuery 2 set. So the thing is like some of the tool set is because it's proprietary, right? You won't be able to see their implementation. Their implementation is probably inside Google, and then they will probably hide it under like APIs or some kind of like protocols to like query it, like invocation remote invocation. So you won't see some of the code. Okay. The BigQuery, this BigQuery is actually part of the Google ADK package, so you can install and then start using already. Okay. So someone say, can I put like code? So it depends on the model. Someone say like, can I put like this instead, like this one, right? You say, can I do this one? Actually, it doesn't really make any difference, like if you ask me, because this one doesn't really refer to this one, right? Usually the max I put is I will try to like copy the name, exact copy. I will just like exact copy it, then put it here, like BigQuery 2 set 2, right? Your BigQuery 2 set 2, something like that. Okay. When a user asks about data set, use your BigQuery 2 set tools, which is the equal, right? So then when I'm debugging, right, I click on this one, it actually highlights both, something like that. So I can see, oh, actually I use this tool for this one. Right? If you just like that, also technically okay, but I usually do this. So then I highlight this, right? I will highlight the tools also. Then I can easily see that, oh, I'm using this tool for this one. Okay. Right. What else? I think that's all the questions are. Okay, let me wrap it up then. We're almost time, so I'm going to just go back, present something else. Yeah, so this is what our AI agent for analytics is now. So you can have like Google Search Agent, BigQuery 2 set, ask it to write SQL statement, query directly, and so on. Wait, not this one. Yeah, so this one, we have different type of agent as well, not just large language model based agent. So we have been using this one, but we can also use something like workflow agent. So workflow agents are like a way to help you to optimize your step. Right? So think of it like you have the sequential agent, parallel agents, and loop agent. So if you need some kind of like loop to help you to like refine answer or check the answers and stuff like that, you can use the loop one. If you want things to be run parallel, but of course you have to have a parallelable task, right? If your tasks are independent to each other, then you can do the parallel agent. If your tasks are like depend on each other, you do the sequential agent. Okay, so sequential agent, simple input go into the agent, then agent 1 input go into agent 1 output go into agent 2 input. Agent 2 input is become output after processing, and then go to output, right? So go information flow is like input, agent 1, agent 2, output, right? And agent 2 is dependent on agent 1, and then of course like if there's agent 3, then agent 3 depend on agent 2 lah. Right? So that's like that. And then parallel is the input, right? The difference is the input from parallel actually goes into different agent at one go, right? So if you have like 20 parallel agent, right, the input actually go into all 20. So then you need to start thinking like, oh, how do I actually, optimize the information? So instead of the input going in, can I ask all the agents to go and read it from somewhere else? Something like that, Yeah, so you need to think of like architectural pattern and all this sort of thing. But the also different is that when you process already, right, the output will actually come out from the number of agents will actually produce like one agent produces one output. So the number of agents actually equivalent to the output that you're gonna get, right? So then you need to figure out, because you can't just give 20 output to user, right? You need to have a way to consolidate or like finalize in a way. So you have to put different agent at the last step to help you to consolidate as well. Okay. So then the next one that we have is loop. So loop one is like similar to running one time, but once you have like you have to set like condition. So there's this like exit condition, right? So let's say, for example, you have like 10 test cases that you need to pass from generating code, right? So your agent is to code generate, right? Generate the code, and then let's say it use 1, 2, 3, 4 to generate already. At this point, when it's done, can I pass all the tests that I'm supposed to pass? If all the tests is passed already, then you can stop, right? Because there's nothing for me to do already, right? So if my agent can do the task is exit condition met, I go out, I come out here. If exit condition is not met, right, then I will check what's my allotted or like maximum iteration I can do. If my iteration is like 5 or 3, then I will actually go back and then do one more time, and I check is exit condition met or not. If exit condition is not met, and then I will check the iteration. If iteration is still okay, I go one more round. If iteration is max already, then I cannot run anymore. I will quit. I will give you whatever I have, but I will quit already. So the agent will actually quit on 2 occasions, right? One is when the exit condition met. One is when they finish with their max iteration. So this is similar to the sequential, 1 input, 1 output. But the only difference is you can get multiple loops inside. Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. It's like, why do we need that? Is you cannot have like this structure into like, if I want to loop that, I can loop, right? If I want to stack them in parallel, I can stack them in parallel and so on. Right, here is the documentation. You can go and check out like documented Google/ADK docs. Yeah, the documentation is here. Okay, so someone asked like, what's the difference between ADK and LangChain? Right, so in the past, right, ADK only works with Gemini Live API, which is like a voice translation. I mean, not voice communication. So you can talk to the agent in a voice manner. But I think nowadays everyone also kind of use the similar features already. I would say some framework, right? Let's say Crew AI, LangGraph, ADK, they have their own way to implement something. Like for example, right? In the past, right, Crew AI doesn't really like the concept of loop. So they want it to be more of like water flow pattern. So you cannot loop the AI agent, right? And LangGraph, right? So look, LangChain is more of like a tools to help you do prompting better. And you can chain different tools, right? And LangGraph is something that is like using LangChain. It's like one layer on top of LangChain to build AI agent. So there's this library called LangGraph. So they use this thing called like time jump, where let's say right, you have 5 agents and then you execute. You step, I don't know, you have like 5 rounds to execute, and then you 3 rounds, then you just jump back to like round 1, and you found out that it's actually like, oh, it's a wrong thing. You just jump back to the step 1, and then you repeat the same thing again. So they actually believe in different methodologies, and then you have to like read the fine print. Basic agent, everyone can do the same thing, right? It's not so much about the orchestration part. It's so much about the prompting, your intention, your architecture, and also the model performance, right? You can use like different ADK and all these things, but your model is not very good, then it's not very good. So yeah. So someone say, can we create charts and perform data visualization? Technically it can. You probably need to have like deeper down into like how do you actually show it as like a graphical, because this is like AngularJS. I think this UI is in AngularJS. So you need it's like HTML, right? You have to find like a I would say an object to actually show that image and so on here, right? And of course, like when the model actually respond back to you in like image data, actually it's not flat image, it actually base 64 encoding. So you need to actually decode it and then show that, right? So you need to write all the code to show this thing and stuff, right? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. If you want to connect, wait, this is my LinkedIn and Instagram and so on. You can actually connect it. Uh, if you have no further question, then I will pass the time back to Samuel. Thank you so much, Samuel, for staying. Slide, I can send the physical copy, not physical, a public copy that I have. Most of the contents are the same. I will just pass to Samuel. Public copy. Not this one. This one is actually Google own one, so I cannot send this one. But I actually created a public one, very similar one. So you can use that one.
Thank you so much, Tuya, for joining us. I will not gonna drag the session much because I know like you have another session after this one,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yes, I will invite you another one.
Okay. So I would like to request everybody to open your camera for a while, so we can take a quick photography session, and do connect with Tuya on social media as well. So thank you so much once again for joining us, and thank you so much making time for us in your busy schedule. So I hope like everybody can get benefited with it, and please do remember to finish the task. Task is like as if like whatever just now Mr. Tua mentioned that. Uh, uh, just try to follow the code lab, then try to modify on your own, and do mention in LinkedIn, do post in LinkedIn, and don't forget to tag him. Yeah. Okay. I will. Okay. I will maybe stop the sharing. Let me unpin
Yep.
it.
Let me just stop sharing then. Stop. All right.
Okay. So let's do our GTG sign. Okay. So in count of, Ho is here, right? Hello. Okay. So Ho will help us taking a picture. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Three, two, one. Done. Okay. Okay, thank you so much once again, everyone, for joining. So thank you so much for Tuya also for joining.
No
So
problem.
see you on our next session.
See
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.